Hey guys, it's me. Happy Saturday. Well, I wanted to do a live class this afternoon, but I did a post in the group and I think only one person was available to attend live, and I do still need to have, I can't talk today, I do still need to have a certain number of attendees to be able to record the class live. We got bags all over the place here. I did a little shopping yesterday. I do need to have a certain number of attendees in order to have a live class through Zoom, and that's actually Zoom's requirement. It is not mine. So, and I do have another class tonight. I'm trying to play catch up. I did have to reschedule a lot of classes last month because of some personal stuff I had going on. So I'm trying to do some catch up here. I'm basically doing this recorded tutorial now. We have another class this evening, and we have two tomorrow. So it's going to be a pretty busy weekend. Let me show you what I got actually yesterday. They have some super cute signs at the Dollar Tree. This one might be a little bit too big for a wreath, but I love snowmen, so I had to grab that. And I think I'm actually going to use this one in my Santa swag. I don't know yet. I kind of wanted him to hold on to something. I can't find a present, like in the, the video, the photo that's in the class listing. He's holding on to a present. I can't really find one the right size. So I thought it would be cute to maybe put a little sign. You can even see that it's very bright in here. This is also from the Dollar Tree. Have a holly jolly Christmas. I might have him hold on to that. I have some more Christmas stuff in the basement from last year. I have a lot of Christmas stuff in the basement. There's a sticker in here. So I might even go through my Christmas stash and see what I have there, and maybe I can use something from my stash. I'm really running out of room in this house, in my craft room. I don't have any place to put anything anymore. I really need to either have my daughter move out so I could take her room, which sounds kind of mean, but she was planning on moving to Colorado to live with her sister anyway. So that would be a nice big storage area for me. I could even just make that my new craft room. I totally forgot what I was saying. So I actually already started this. Oh, I want to show you too what we're going to do for class tonight. If you're doing the mesh, the balsam wreath with the mesh, I think that's what it's called. The Noel sled is not available this year. Can't find it anywhere. It was at Walmart last year. You can't find it. There's a lot of sleds out there now. Rite Aid had some cute ones. This one I actually did get from Walmart. It says let it snow. Of course, if there's a snowman sled, I'm going to buy it because I love snowmen. They did have some Noel signs there. I think that they were a little bit different. I think that they were diagonal, horizontal. They weren't vertical. So I'm going to do that for my class tonight with the balsam base. And I actually found these too from last year. These are from Big Lots. These are like little rustic, like star ornaments. And I'm going to use this, I'm going to put this buffalo plaid in there, I think. You can see that. Because what I wanted to use, you can see them sitting there. I'm only going to do two different kinds of ribbons with the buffalo, with the wreath tonight. I'm going to do this buffalo plaid that I actually got from, I think, Dollar General, believe it or not, and this really cute snowflake. When I add mesh, to a balsam or a pine base, I don't like to overload it with ribbon because I want some of the green to show through. And if you put too much ribbon and you put too much mesh, you're not going to be able to see the green. So I just wanted to show you real quick what we're going to do tonight. I actually already started this because I thought we were going to be doing the live class, and I kind of wanted to make the class a little bit shorter so I could get ready for class tonight. But I did just half of it. And you can see, I think I complained about these tinsel ties before. This is a Dollar Tree frame. 18 ties is the standard. 10 on the outside, 2 bars. You can see they're around the 2 bars. 8 on the inside, 2 bars here. I had a problem with these tinsel ties the last time I bought them. Oh, they're about 4 inches apart too, by the way. That'll give you perfect coverage. I got these from Craft Outlet because I really like the colors, but they slide like crazy. And I tried hot glue, and it just makes a big mess. So all I did, and it worked really well, if you can see it, I just did a zip tie around around it, and it really, it held it nicely. So that's a nice little tip. These are 30-inch pieces of mesh. I actually did send a kit out to a few people with the blue and the white. I actually am using a snowball white because that's all I had. They call this a snowball mesh, and it's so pretty. Looks like it's got little snowballs on it. And this is just a regular light blue, almost a turquoisey metallic. So these are 30-inch pieces. We're going to put one per tie. That's all you're going to need. If you cut up both rolls, you're probably going to have some left over. And if that's the case, I'm just going to go ahead and I may even add more. Meaning I may add more pipe cleaners and add more mesh because I don't like to have mesh hanging around. So all you do, put this so you can see it, is I take one end of the mesh. Now you might want to maybe get your phone or get something heavy to help you lay down one end of it so you can ruffle it a little bit, but let's not do that yet. But I like to take my end and I like to curl it over a little bit and then flip it. This is what I mean by get something heavy, because look how the end is starting to curl already. So while you're ruffling it, just put this down on the end so it doesn't curl back on you. So again, take the very end and fold it under. Go kind of slow here because it is a big piece of mesh, but you don't want to lose your pinch, meaning as you're ruffling it up, make sure you've got it pinched tight. Because if it's not tight, your ruffle's going to come out and it's going to look weird. So when you have a big piece of mesh like this, you kind of want to go a little bit slow. Once I get to the end, I just take the end and I curl it under. Again, just trying to get that cut piece hidden underneath. Now you have one big, huge ruffle here. You can kind of even it out when it's in your hand and make sure you have even amounts on both sides. You're going to place the cut side, which is this side, down, parallel to your wreath form. And I'm just alternating going around, doing the blue, and then I'm doing the white. And that is it. Kind of fluff it out a little bit when you get it on there. This is a better quality mesh, but if this was a cheaper mesh, which I don't really recommend anybody ever buying, the more you pull on it, the more it's going to fray. So be cognizant of that. Try to get your piece situated and even on both sides before you lay it down, because if you're pulling on it when it's on your wreath, it's going to make a mess. I use the wood burning tool. That always helps to cut down on frays. And I'm just going to go around the whole wreath form and just alternate my colors. That's it. If it's uncomfortable for you to roll such a big piece of mesh like this, you can certainly do two 15-inch pieces and kind of crisscross them over. Do two per tie. Or sometimes I don't really ever do 15-inch pieces. If I'm doing two different kinds of mesh per tie, I'll do 18-inch pieces. And that way you get the most pieces of mesh out of your roll. Technically, you're supposed to be able to get 18 20-inch pieces out of a 30-foot roll, but you're always going to have a little bit of waste because your pieces aren't always going to be cut perfectly. So I tend to do 18-inch pieces if I'm going to do two per tie. But the nice thing about doing 30-inch pieces is you only have one per tie, and that's going to give you enough fullness that you don't have to add another piece. So I'm just sort of like trying to spread it out. You want your ruffles to be spread out and fluffy. You don't want them to be all bunched together. I really love these tinsel ties when I bought them, like I said, because, you know, when you have a really pretty pipe cleaner, you don't have to worry about necessarily clipping it off once you get your ribbon and stuff added, because it's shiny and it's pretty and it adds to the look of the finished wreath. So that's it. Glad it really only snowed for one day here, but we got killed yesterday. Seems like we didn't even really have a fall here in upstate New York. I know a lot of people who actually live in the New York City area are probably thinking upstate that I mean like Poughkeepsie or that area. But no. Upstate, I'm talking way upstate. Like I'm 2 hours west of Albany. I'm right in the middle of the state, which I guess is technically considered central New York. But anyway, we really didn't have much of a fall. Looks like we went right from summer to winter. Almost like this year we went right from winter to summer. We didn't really have a spring. We had snow, I think, all the way up through April, it seemed. I like fall, so I was disappointed. I was disappointed we didn't have more nice fall days. It rained a lot. A lot. Maybe I'll end up in Colorado living with my daughter one of these days. I really miss my daughter. She's not going to be able to come home for Thanksgiving, but the flights were just too expensive. She is going to come home for Christmas for about 2 weeks, so it'll be nice to see her. I haven't seen her since Mother's Day. It's hard when your kids move away, but she was always relatively close. I can't get this piece to look the way I want it to. She was living down on Long Island after she graduated college, and that's about 5 hours. And so I would take the train down, actually. What is going on with this piece of mesh? It just does not want to. That's why I said try to get it even in your hand before you lay it down, because once you lay it down, if it's not, there we go, I think there's a little bit too much on that side. If you lay it down on your pipe cleaner and it's not even on both sides, you're going to get a weird looking ruffle, which is when still trying to look weird. I'm going to pull a little bit out on this side. And you want it to push each other up. Don't lay them on top of each other. Like you want them to be pushing each other up. So your ruffles are going up and they're not flat. So as I was saying, she was living in Long Island, down in the Hamptons, actually. Which, if you've got this conception of the Hamptons as being filthy rich and big, beautiful houses, you're absolutely right about that. But there's a nice charm to it. You know, the people are very nice. We drove by Barefoot Contessa's house, if you know who she is, on more than one occasion because she didn't live far from my daughter. Her house is gigantic, and I think Lindsay said she saw her outside one time leaving, and she was very excited about that. But the nicest thing about being down there is the beaches are sparkling clean, private, meaning you can only access the beaches if you're a resident. And she had a permit because she was a resident. They were never overcrowded. The Atlantic Ocean is absolutely beautiful. I miss that. I miss being able to visit her at the ocean, but now she's in the mountains, so I can visit her in the mountains. Kind of, you know, I don't really want to say that I'm stuck here. I kind of am, though, in a way, because I have a 15-year-old dog. Well, she's going to be 15 in March. She's 14 now. You heard the story of my Sammy. She's a Pekingese Chihuahua. And she got diagnosed with diabetes and Cushing's disease, which in and of itself is not fatal, but it can lead to other conditions that can be fatal. So she went blind about a month after she was diagnosed in March of 2017. And she's a handful. She gets around, but she cannot be left alone. So I'm not quite sure how much longer she has, but we kind of have to keep things stable for her. And I think if I was to move, it might be just too much for her, you know, because she's used to this house, and yeah, that's all. But I was born and raised in the city I'm in now, in Rome, New York. When my kids were little, actually I should say I only had one kid. When my husband and I were first married, we both worked for MetLife Insurance. And when my son was born in 1991, he was about 9 months old. And we moved to New Jersey because they were building a new office for MetLife. And he worked there as well. I think I said that already, sorry. They offered him a promotion. And since I was also working there, they offered me a position as well. But the problem was that the office in New Jersey wasn't ready when we moved. So we both had to commute from New Jersey into New York City to work at the home office there, the corporate office right on Madison Avenue, which was really kind of a shocker for me because I'm a small town girl, and with my business suit and my sneakers, and we'd drive to the train station in Millington, New Jersey, and then take the train into Newark, New Jersey. And the path, which is, it stands for something, but all it is like a subway that goes from New Jersey into New York City. And I would work with my business suit. I'd get off the subway with my little sneakers on and, Working Girl with Melanie Griffith, if you've ever seen that movie type thing. And had 2 more kids down there, one in New Jersey and one in Pennsylvania, because we moved to Pennsylvania. Moved back up here in 1995. I got divorced. The kids ended up, we lived in New Hartford for 10 years, which is about half an hour from Rome. And moved back to Rome about 6 years ago, because a lot of my family is here. But, I don't really want to stay in my hometown the rest of my life. I want to travel. I want to go places. Anyway, I'll stop chit-chatting about that. So this is the outside. The outside's done. The outside 10 ties. Very pretty. Now we're going to go to the inside. Now I'm going to start with the white, but I want to try to place it so it's not next to another white piece. And I'll show you what I mean by that. It isn't rocket science, but. And I think I'm just going to stop the camera for a little while and finish the inside. I'm basically doing the same thing on the inside that I did on the outside. We're just ruffling our pieces. Again, make sure it's even in your hand. Try to get it as even as possible in your hand before you lay it down so you're not pulling on it too much. So let me find a piece, a blue piece, that's next to my inside tie. And that's where I'm going to lay my first one. That one's white. I think here's a good spot to start, right here. If you end up having 2 of the same color next to each other, then you know what? It is what it is. No big deal. So do exactly the same thing. You're going to lay it parallel to your wreath form. And the inside's going to kind of be a bit more fluffy than the outside. These ruffles are going to be sticking straight up, which is what you want. You don't want them to be flat. You want them to be puffy and ruffly. That's why they're called ruffles. So it's like kind of sticking straight up in the middle. That's what you want. So I'm going to stop the video and I'm just going to do the rest of these 7 ties that are on the inside, and then I'll come back. Which piece looks, see, this ruffle looks off to me. But once you put your ribbon in, it'll be fine. And I will be right back. I'm just going to pause it. See you in a minute. Okay, guys, I'm back. So I got my base finished, and look how beautiful and fluffy that is. So, you're going to have a couple spots where you're going to have some blue next to the blue. Like here, I've got a blue here, and I've got a blue here on the inside. But you know what? Don't worry about it. As long as you have, it is a nice mix of colors. I think it came out really, really nice. What I ended up doing is I do still have some of the snowball, the white mesh left over. And I had like 3 pieces of the blue. But because the blue was a lot thinner, more sheer than the snowball, what I did was I went around the outside and I added another piece here I think I added another piece here and one over here, just to use it up, because I can use the snowball mesh for other things. I might even use the 3 pieces of the snowball mesh I have left over for my tabletop snowman, because that takes the same kind of mesh. So that'll get used. But I wanted to use up the rest of my blue, which I did. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our penguin on, because I don't, I want to make sure that I don't want to cover his, I don't want to put ribbon on and then cover the ribbon up with the penguin. The penguin's head's going to go in the middle, okay? And then his little feeties and his arms are going to stick out over here. So you've got your wires here. If you guys ordered the kit, you got this penguin kit. If you didn't order the kit, you can get this from Craft Outlet. I think the Wreath shop has it too. Isn't it so freaking cute? So he's got a little wire in the back of his head. He's got 2 wires down here, 2 sets of wires, I should say. I don't really think I'm going to need this one, because it's just going to be kind of hanging down to the middle. I'm not going to need that one in the back of his head, so I'm going to clip that one off. Not going to need that one. Just kind of stuff it back in there. But I'm going to use these 2 on the sides here. There's actually 2 sets of wires here. Oh, there's a squirrel on my porch. So just kind of open them up like that. You can see that they're opened. And I'm going to try to position him in the middle. If you want to kind of squeeze him inside of your mesh, you can. So he's not resting right on the top. But I think I kind of want him to rest on the top, because I want to see his little earmuffs. And if I squish him down too far, you're not going to see his little earmuffs. So he's going to kind of rest sort of on the top. And you kind of have to, I hope these wires are going to be long enough. I'm not sure if these are going to be long enough to reach through the wreath frame, because you kind of have to dig through your mesh and find your wreath frame and wrap those wires around. I'm not going to do it too awful tight, because like I said, these wires aren't very long. So, and I'm going to do it kind of loosely at first, because I don't want to jam him right down into the wreath. Like I said, I kind of want him sitting on the top so I can see his little earmuffs. And that did reach. I just went right down to the very first wire that was closest. So the inside, I say wire, the inside bar of the wreath form is the closest one that I could reach with these wires. So that's the one that I grabbed. Let me just kind of, I'll flip it around and I'll show you. So this middle bar right here is what I'm wrapping the wires around. Again, and make sure that he's positioned the way you want him to before you tighten it. Look at that, perfect. And I know the image in the class listing showed him like wedged right down in the mesh. I don't want to do that, because I want to see his little earmuffs. I don't want to like bury his little head in there. I want to be able to see him. I'm just sort of like pulling off these extra little frays here. And if you folded your ends under, you're not really going to get any frays. The problem with this metallic mesh, though, is sometimes the little pieces of the metallic like to come out. So if you have any cut ends showing in your ruffles, just kind of tuck them in. That's what I do. So he looks pretty good. So cute. You can hang this after Christmas too. It's definitely, I'm just going to tighten this one now. It's definitely not just a Christmas wreath, especially with the blues. And I always find that after Christmas I get so depressed, because all the decorations come down in the lights. So I was always looking for ways to keep the festiveness going in my house even after Christmas. So I would, drape white lights and, decorate with the winter colors. Blue is definitely a winter color, and silver. I'd like to do a boxwood wreath too. Boxwood is so pretty, and you can decorate with that with blues and white and silver. So again, I'm trying not to. I don't want to get them so squished down there that you can't see his little earmuffs. I kind of tighten them down just a little bit too much on this side, but Let me just loosen this side a little bit. This is a little too tight. That's why I said don't tighten it too much right away until you're sure you're happy with where he's positioned. Just going to loosen it a little bit. So pull him up just a little. You basically just take your wires and wrap them around the bar a few times. If you're going to be selling this to a customer, you can get a placemat, the round placemat from Dollar General or Dollar Tree, fits perfectly on the back of the wreath form, and it'll cover up all this stuff. I don't know what the measurements are, but they have them at Dollar General, I believe, for $2. Dollar Tree is obviously $1. You can get any color that you want to match. Whatever color you have on your wreath. So there's his little head. So cute. Somebody just texted me here. Let's see. It's just my son. All right. So now we're going to get his little hands or flippers or whatever the heck they're called. And there's 2 wires on here. So you got to kind of bend them in so that it's straight. Bend it down like that so you can put that part down into your wreath. Just kind of got to figure out where you want them to go. That's a good spot. As good a spot as any. The wires on this are always like the hands and the legs. For some reason, they make the wire so much thicker. And I can never understand that. And they're hard to bend. They're really hard to bend. Yeah. They're light though. They're easy to put in. So there's one of his little flippers, his little hands. I don't know why I call him flippers. It's like he's a dolphin. He's not a dolphin. He's a penguin. So just bend it down again so it's like that. So you can go down into your wreath form. Try to get it even on both sides here. Just getting through the mesh with these things is what's challenging. You've got all this mesh you have to try to maneuver around, and it gets caught. So just take your time. I cannot believe, ladies, that next week is Thanksgiving. Where the heck did it come from? It came out of nowhere. Well, this one's a little uneven, so I have to bend it a little bit here. You can use your mesh to sort of hide the wire a little bit if the wire is showing. Just pull it down a little bit more. Make it a little bit tighter. This is always the challenging part, ladies, is getting your centerpiece or your wreath attachment the way you want it. After that, it's smooth sailing. I'm trying to get this done by 3 o'clock, so I still have to prep for my class tonight. I don't have anything ready for that yet. I'm going to make sure that his little hands are even. That looks even enough. I like the way this one on the other side looks better than this one. There we go. feel like this one just isn't tight enough, and I don't know why, but it's, you know, it's kind of nestled in there amongst the mesh. It's not going to go anywhere. But I feel like it's just looser. This one's kind of loose. I'm looking at it on my laptop to see if I'm happy with the placement of them. Yeah, that looks good. I'm just going to tighten this a little bit. See, the mesh gets stuck, or the wires get stuck in the mesh, and you can't move it. Again, why they make the wires on the hands and the legs so much thicker, and it's harder to bend them. The wires on the back of the head are really thin and easy to bend. These, not so much. I pull it down a little bit farther here. Hope I didn't pull it down too far. I guess we'll see in a minute when I go back around. All right, that's good. This one just seems looser, because you know what happened? The wire is all the way up through here. I can feel it, but it became loose in this one. This one, it's not, it like slid down or something. It's like over here. That's why this one seems a little bit looser. It's not going to come out, but it just kind of like slid down. It's not all the way up through the top of the little hand anymore, but that looks good enough. I'm not going to keep touching it. We got to put his feet in. And this is just one piece, so we don't have two separate feeties to put in. And again, these big, thick wires, these big, heavy wires, I don't really know the sense on that because this thing is really thick, or really light, I mean. So I kind of want to go up underneath the mesh on the bottom here for his feet. So hold on. So I'm probably not going to put ribbon right here because his feet are going to go here. So kind of go up underneath the mesh. First, find your wreath form. I kind of want to go in between these two layers here. So hold on a second here, bear with me. I want to go in between, see how it gets stuck on the mesh? In between the first row of ruffles and the second. That's what I'm aiming for. I want to kind of tuck it in there. Don't let this frustrate you. Take your time. It's hard, like I said, when you're trying to, yeah, just like that I want it to go. So it's like in between this layer of mesh, this row, and the bottom. That's exactly where I want it to go. So again, take your time. Like I said, it's going to try to get stuck on you, these wires. As long as you can find your wreath form, twist it around with these super heavy wires, not too tight at first. You want to make sure it's positioned the way you want it. Oh, cute. Oh, how cute. Little piece. I get so excited. That's perfect. It's just how I wanted it. Perfect, perfect. Look how stinking cute. I wish you guys were here with me live to share my excitement, but you're not. But that's okay. You'll be excited when you see the video. This one is just annoying me. This one where the wire came out, slid down. Just kind of tucking it in around the mesh. I want it to lay like this one is. How stinking cute is that? Doesn't matter if it's there. That's a little bit better. Don't worry, don't aim for perfection like me. I'm totally OCD when it comes to stuff like that. You don't need to be. So this is where I want it to be. I'm going to continue to wrap the wire around the back. Just to hold it. You can snip the extra wire off if you want. You can wrap it around like I am, and then get your placemat to cover all this stuff. I might even put a little bit of glue there to hold that little flipper, because it looks like it's, I feel like it's not even with the other side. And I have a tinsel tie here that I'm not going to use, so I'm just going to kind of tuck it away. I'm going to be here all day adjusting his little flippers. But again, no one to walk away. This one is absolutely perfect. This one is what's bugging me. This one's bothering me. But whatever. Good enough. I think it's because there's a lot more mesh in between this one and this one than this one, because that's because his scarf is here. If his scarf wasn't there, you know what I mean? I think that's what's kind of throwing me off, is his scarf. It looks like it's too close. Anyway, so now we're going to put some ribbon on. And I'm not going to make you watch me do all the ribbon, because you know, if you've been in my live videos, that is the most time-consuming part. So I'm going to start, and then we'll pause the video, because I got some really cute little snowflakes that I got from Walmart that I'm also going to try to put on. And I found these cute little ornaments that I had last year that are going to be perfect, because they have little snowflakes on them, and I'm going to try to put some of those on. Oops, and they just fell on the floor. I'm just checking my phone here. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. All right, let's put some ribbon on. Now, usually I use two 2.5 inch and two 1.5 inch, but this time I decided to go with all 2.5. I don't know why, I just did. So I have this really pretty snowflake, okay, 12-inch pieces. I have this one, which I absolutely love, which is part of the kits, but the one I have has a fuzzy edge to it. I love that. This is Let It Snow. This was a bit more expensive, so I bought it for myself, but I couldn't afford to put it in the kits, unfortunately. But this one, the other one for the kits, is just the same. It just doesn't have the fuzzy edge, that's all. But it was kind of expensive, so I splurged for myself. And then I have this really pretty, with the light blue and the silver polka dots. And this one is absolutely gorgeous, but it's very, very sparkly, so I'm going to have a sparkle-filled room when we're done. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, let's start pairing these together. I just have to figure out what I want to go with what, or what I want to put with what. So we'll just do the snowflake with the swirly. We'll start with that one. And I'm going to do just like I always do, pinch it in the middle, find your center spot, and start adding to the outside. Now, normally I do my bow ties. Oh, how pretty that is. Look how pretty that looks. I love sparkly ribbon. I do my bow ties with the 1.5 inch. Since we don't have 1.5 inch, we're going to do it with the 2.5. And you can do it with 2.5 inch. You absolutely can. So I think I'm going to do the, I think I cut the snowflake one in the longer pieces. The bow ties, pieces for the bow ties are gonna be cut at 13. Don't dovetail the ends, just fold it over. Make sure the edges are crossed over, overlapped, and then just pinch it in the middle. I don't remember where I got this ribbon. I found it in my stash. I did send some snowflake ribbon out in the kits, but I didn't have enough for myself. So I had to go into my stash and pray that I had some blue snowflake ribbon, and I did. So that works out well. This is a thinner ribbon. It's not real thick, so it's easy to make your bow tie with a thinner ribbon. If it's too thick, it's kind of, and see how that little tinsel tie, you could just kind of leave that there, and it adds to the, it just adds to the final look of the wreath. So now we have our Let It Snow ribbon. I gotta make sure it's going the right way when I add it, meaning I want my words to be facing in the direction of my wreath, like that. I go to the next tie. I do ribbon on the outside ties, every single tie. I don't necessarily do them on every inside tie, depending on how big my sign or my centerpiece is. I don't want to cover it, but I do them on all the outside ties. And if your ribbon overlaps a little bit on the outside with your two sets of ribbon tails here, it's okay. It's okay. It's really okay. Kind of want, I should have put my Let It Snow on the top because I kind of want that one to show a little bit more than my polka dot one. Let me fix that. I want my Let It Snow to be on the top. Look at that. The one that's on the top generally shows better than the one on the bottom, I found, because it's on the top. And when you're pulling them apart, it tends to just show more for obvious reasons, because it's on top. Pretty, 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 pretty. Okay, now I think because that Let It Snow ribbon is really, really thick, I'm using, oh, you know what I did? Oh, okay, wait a minute. Where is it? Oh, I'm so confused. What did I do here? I messed up. I cut these in the extra pieces, the extra long pieces. I should have paired that with that, and I should have paired that with that. So now I don't have enough extra long pieces of the snowflake. I'll have to cut more. No, not the snowflake. The polka dot. I did a boo-boo. You know what? I'm not going to put a bow tie then on these. I'm going to put my ornaments on these. So this one's not going to have a bow tie. Every other one's going to have a bow tie. This one's going to have an ornament. I did a boo-boo. I was supposed to pair this one with the Let It Snow because this is the one that I cut the bow ties in. That's okay. I can get these open. You know what, we'll do that after because I have to plug in my glue gun too. So we'll do that after. I think I'm going to pause the video anyway, ladies, because I don't want you to sit here watching me throw my ribbon on because that's the most time-consuming part. Maybe I'll even switch these out. I really wanted to use the bow tie. All right, let's change this. I messed up. Sorry. I'm going to show you what I mean. I wanted to pair, or I should have paired this with my Let It Snow. So then I could use the swirly bow ties that I cut. You follow me? So we'll just switch them around. I'm still going to be using the snowflake bow ties, but I'm going to use them in the other one. So let's do a little switcheroo. Because this Let It Snow ribbon is really, really thick. There's no way I can do a bow tie with that. It's super thick. So now I can get my pieces that I cut in the 13 inches that are not dovetailed and do my bow tie, which is what I wanted to do in the first place. This is the one that gets sparklies everywhere. You can see them all over my table. The swirly one. Very, very, very sparkly, but very pretty. Somebody posted a pic the other day. They were making a bow with a really sparkly ribbon, and they had their coffee sitting there, and they went to take a sip of their coffee, and it was covered in sparkles, so it had all sparkles in it. So there we go. That'll work too. That looks really pretty too. They Let It Snow with the swirly ribbon. That'll work. All right, so now we can do the polka dot with the snowflake. And the next one. Again, if they overlap a little bit, that's okay. Oops, sorry for my head. Kind of want my Let It Snow to show a little bit more than my polka dotty though. I like it. And then we can do the bow tie with the snowflake. So I'm going to pause the video, ladies, because all I'm basically going to do is continue going around the outside of my wreath frame and alternating my different patterns. So let me just put this in and I'll show you. And I always make sure that all my tails are going out, so you have a nice frame, so to speak, for your wreath of all little bows and look at all these sparkles, all little bows and ribbons. So the next tie I'm going to do the Let It Snow with the swirly again over here, and then we're going to go back to these two, and we're going to go all the way around, and I will be back. See you in a bit. Okay, guys, I'm back. Alrighty. This is looking really nice. I have like sparkles everywhere here. This ribbon's very sparkly. So you can see that I got done adding all my ribbon all the way around the outside. And I just love how that looks. Framing the outside of the wreath. This is the piece that's bothering me. I can see it in the camera. Where is it? This one. No? This one. It's framing all the way around the wreath with the little bow ties, and I just absolutely love that. All the way around. I didn't put any under his feet because there wasn't a tie there for me to do it anyway, and that kind of worked out well that way. But look how stinking cute that is. Okay. I got sparkles everywhere. I'm not going to do a lot of ribbon on top, but I do want to do some. So I love this Let It Snow ribbon. So we're going to put this right, there's a tie right here. So he's going to get a little bit more. Actually, I think I'm not going to use both of these ties. Maybe I'll keep this and just kind of twist it around to put my ornament on, or my snowflake. So I'm going to put the Let It Snow ribbon over onto his right here. It's my right, it's your left, but I think. And when you're pinching your ribbon in the middle, be very careful that it's not bunched together weirdly. Make it nice and neat. Because when you go to separate your ribbon, if it's bunched together weird, it's going to be hard for you to lay your ribbon. We're going to put this right underneath him, like that. Underneath his little head. I just love these colors. You pick the right ribbon, and boy, it makes your wreath. It really, really does. And in the beginning, you know, when I first started doing this, I really wasn't very good at picking out ribbon. I wasn't good at color matching, and it just takes time. It just takes practice. That's all. That's all. And then you just start to get an eye for it. And a lot of times, I was just helping somebody in the group today that had a sign, and she had all these ribbons, and she couldn't decide what ribbon she wanted to use. And it's very important when you're choosing your ribbons and you're starting with a sign, which is what most people do. You know what? I don't think I want to do a bow tie in that one. I'm going to do an ornament. I don't know. I feel like the ribbon is just like being buried in the mesh here. Hold on, let me take a look at this and see, because I don't want to cover up my Let It Snow ribbon that much because it's really pretty and I like it. I think this will work. Let me just adjust it. Just adjust it a little bit here. I forgot what I was saying. If you start with a sign, it's important. You know, a lot of times people get their wreath ideas from like a sign or a centerpiece. And then you want to go with your ribbon, and then you go with your mesh, because what you want to do is you want to look and see what colors you have in your sign, and you always want to try to include or incorporate an element of those colors into your ribbon. And I wish I could remember that post that somebody had, but it was a snowman sign, but it had a little bit of green, it had a little bit of black in his hat, and she had all these ribbons. So, you know, I can't wait to see how it came out, because I tried to give her some advice, but everybody else was giving her advice too. So we'll see whose advice she took. So he's got a nice little bow tie right underneath him here, a nice little ribbon bundle with a bow tie. It's tough when you're putting ribbon in the top. Sometimes I don't go all the way down to the bottom of the pipe cleaner, because the ribbon can get lost, meaning it's down so far that, you know, I probably could have cut these at 13. But again, I don't like to cut my ribbon too long that you can't see the mesh. So I don't think I'm even going to need to put an ornament over here, because this pipe cleaner is kind of lost under there now. So that's okay. So we're going to put a little bit more on. I don't want to put too much ribbon on the top, because there's, you know, he's taken up quite a bit of space in the wreath here. We'll put some up here. Now again, what I mean is when you're going down to place your ribbon in the top, don't go all the way down the pipe cleaner. Try to go like halfway, because if you go down all the way, you're not going to be able to see your ribbon. The outside, it's a little bit different. For some reason, I can't really think of what reason that is, but if you go down all the way to the middle of your bottom of your pipe cleaner, your ribbon's just going to get lost, and you're not going to be able to see any of it. So it could be kind of weird. It might, you know, be a little bit challenging to try to go halfway down the pipe cleaner, but if you take your time, you can do it. And this, you know, especially when you have ruffles, when you have big poofy ruffles like this, the ribbon just does not want to lay right sometimes. So you got to kind of work with it a little bit. You got to work with it. Don't get frustrated. If you find yourself getting frustrated, there's nothing wrong with walking away and coming back. All of us get frustrated sometimes. See, I don't think I'm going to have enough ribbon in there, pipe cleaner in there to put a bow tie. So I'm going to put an ornament in that one, because I didn't put it all the way down to the bottom of the pipe cleaner. So now I don't have enough pipe cleaner to put my what am I trying to say? My bow tie in. And I have these cute little ornaments, and they have little snowflakes on them, and I just happened to find them. It's one of those things that I kind of picked them up last year, and I think I was going to use them in an ornament wreath, and I never did. But I don't really want that part to show. You know, it doesn't really matter if this part shows. I might see if I can tuck it under my ribbon after I glue it in, so the little ornament holder doesn't hold but show. But even if it does, you know, who cares? Who cares? I think that would look cute in the middle there, so I'm going to glue that right there. But I want the snowflake to show, so I don't want to put it. Usually I put it with the ornament holder facing down, but I want to see my snowflake, so it's going to be just sitting there. Who cares? That's all right. Let that sit for a minute. I want to put some of those other snowflakes in too, but I want to put some more ribbon in first. I'm going to put another ribbon bundle over here. And that's probably going to be it for my ribbon on the top, because I have some snowflakes I want to put in too. Just going to put one more over here, and again, try not to go all the way down to the bottom because the ribbon's going to get lost. I'm not going to be able to see any of it. Like, I was barely able to get that bow tie onto that one because there wasn't much pipe cleaner on there. So try not to cover up his head. I love that Let It Snow ribbon so much. There's another ribbon I was going to use in the Santa swag too. It's got fuzzy edges. It's the snowflake ribbon with the fuzzy edges. I just love that. Okay, let's see. Now, I had some silver ornaments over there too. I probably could have used some silver ornaments too. I just see these sitting in there. You know what? I'm going to pull one of those out. I just happened to see, because I bought these because they had rose gold in them for the rose gold wreath, but there's also some silver in here. I think I'm going to pull one of these out. These came from the Dollar Tree. I got to finish up here because it's almost 3 o'clock, and I have to get ready for my class tonight too. So hopefully there'll be more of you available for the live class. Yeah, I'm going to use the silver ornament, I think, and I'm going to put it right there. So I'll just do the ornament holder side down because there's not, you know, anything on the side of this that I really need to see. So I'm just going to go like straight down into there, just like that. Kind of hold it from there. I'm not going to put any more ribbon in the top, I think. So this little pipe cleaner, if you see any pipe cleaner sticking up, just kind of reach in and tuck them down. Or you can cut them off, whatever you want to do. I just tuck them down. But I want to see, I want to try to use some of these little snowflakes too. These came from Walmart. They're only $2.98. These little snowflake ornaments. And you get quite a few in here. I think there's like 20. Aren't those cute? Oh, yes. 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 I'm so excited when I find something and it's going to work, but I don't really need this hanger. So I'm going to pull this little thin hanger off. I'll cut it off because I don't want to break it. That's super cute. I'm just going to glue it right to the mesh. And you would think that whenever you glue something to mesh, it immediately adheres. You know what? It really doesn't. You kind of have to hold it for a minute. And you have to hold it without burning yourself. So it does not like to, hot glue does not like to stick to mesh as easily as you would think. There we go. And maybe I'll put one over here. Where's my scissors? These are wicked sparkly too. Try to find a piece of this mesh. I don't want to burn myself while I'm holding it. Sorry for my head. See, it just doesn't want to stick to mesh. Hot glue, for some reason, does not like to stick to mesh. There we go. Oh, how pretty that looks. Oh, see, it's already coming loose. You want to try to hold it until it dries, but then you burn yourself. There, just don't touch it again. Do not touch it again. Let me see if I want to put some more ornaments in here. I got this little white one. That's super cute. I'm just going to try to tuck them in here and there. Just like that. Again, if the holders show, big deal. You see everybody making ornament wreaths, and they have the ornament holders all sticking out, and you know what? So what? This is coming off. See, it's hot glue does not like to stick to mesh. Oh, you know what's still on there? Might put another piece of glue on there. Sometimes I even use super glue, because super glue, it seems, likes to stick better than hot glue, and it dries faster. You don't have the little stringies like I'm peeling off my hand right now. Ouch, see what I mean? Hot glue and I do not get along. You just do not. Somebody needs to invent a way to attach embellishments without hot glue. And I will be in love with them forever and ever till the end of time. I want to move his little flipper. I think that'll be okay now. Oh no, a piece of glue flew in there. No, where'd it go? All right, let me see if I'm going to put something else. Maybe I'll put another ornament over here. I have silver ones. I don't want to use the silver ones. I don't think they'll show up that well. You don't really need to over embellish too much. Maybe I'll just put this one right here and then be done with it. I'll call it a day. I think I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to put it on the top and stick it in that way. Just like that. So it goes right through the mesh. It's kind of poking through the mesh a little bit, but maybe that'll stay a little bit better. This one's stuck good. I want to use some more of those snowflakes, but I can't really see where I can put them. So I have one there and I have one there. So I think that'll be good. Just waiting for the glue to dry is really what the problem is with this hot glue. If it would just dry immediately. There's sparkles everywhere. I like his little face. I don't think he cares. So there, I think that's going to stay. So I have some ornament here. I have one there. I didn't put bow ties in every ribbon bundle, but you know what? That's okay. I probably should put an ornament over here to make it even, but I don't really think it needs any more ornaments. Let me see. Where's the silver one? I don't know if I want to use a silver one because you're not really going to be able to see it. Maybe I'll just put another one of these silver ones over here. Just sort of even it out because I have one over there. Maybe I'll just stick this one right there. Pull those little scarf out so you can see it. You guys always talk to yourselves. I'm not really talking to myself. I'm talking to you guys, so that's different. I'm just going to stick this one right here. Put in this little spot. And then I think he's done. And I think he's super cute. And I want to take a picture so I can send this out to you guys and you can make him. I would probably hang this up all winter. I'm not taking him down. And I think I'm going to keep it. So sometimes when I have a wreath that I really like, I price it too high just because I don't want to sell it. They're like, oh, okay. That's more than I can afford. I feel bad, but all right, guys. I am done. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to send it or I'll post it and then we can get you the video as soon as it's ready. Snowflakes you really can't see that well in the picture, but they look super cute. So anyway, guys, I hope you can join me for the live class tonight. I'm going to sign off and clean up my room and take a picture, and I will see you later. Thanks, guys. Bye.